Hello, my name is Jason Marsh, and I'm the CEO of Flow Immersive. Flow Immersive is focused on collaborating around data. So it's a data visualization system to help people basically do the classic use case that we're used to seeing in movies, having data visualizations floating above the table between us as we stand around in either our AR headsets, VR headsets, or using our phones to experience this hologram between us. So I could describe it more and more, but let's show it because that's the right way to help everyone understand what we're doing. So it is an entirely web-based system. You're actually seeing it running in a browser, working across a wide array of headsets, including flat screens, because we need to help lead the horse to water, not dunk its head in. People have a headset, that's great, but not everyone does. Not everyone wants a headset yet. And so for enterprise, we need to be extremely practical. Where do we fit in the ecosystem? We see that WebEx and Zoom are pretty low in terms of engagement. They're a very practical system. We see that Spatial, Meet and VR, these other green dots are other systems for collaborating in social VR. Great stuff, but they're not focused on what are we going to talk about when we get there. And that's what Flow is really focused on. And, kind of what does this look like? What does this feel like? You can see that doing things like understanding a lot of data all at once it's a very powerful use case. This is COVID data relating to hospital beds, a couple dozen countries over time. And here we can see projections for numbers of deaths over time as well. What are some of the big picture ideas that I want to communicate to you, about this? One of them is that we, as humans, build 3D mental models that cannot be shared. So we understand our world in 3D. I think we've forgotten about that because we're so used to seeing flat screens. But mammals, with their hippocampuses and their visual cortex, build mental models of their world, and that is inherently 3D. But we don't have a way to share these. We can't get them out of our heads. This is an idea from Mike Pell in his book, Envisioning Holograms, where this idea that spatial media is a way that we can share these ideas more deeply and powerfully than we've ever been able to experience before. Does it matter? Yeah. So here's an example, right? So my partner in the business, head of business and co-founder, is Michael DiBenigno, and he's been posting these TikToks. This one has 1.1 million views. It's got 107,000 likes and 1,400 comments. And this idea that you can see your data floating between you, it really appeals, especially to a younger generation. Let me talk to you for a moment about cool. I think cool is a scientific term. It means mastery and control. Think about that great skateboard trick. Total control. Think about Jarvis helping Tony Stark manipulate atoms. Mastery and control, vicarious experience of seeing him get his job done effectively and efficiently. That's what enterprise needs. It's not just a novelty. Cool is power, and cool is necessary. The UNDP is using a Magic Leap headset and using Flow to talk about informal and complex supply chains of produce around Zimbabwe, right? So in this case, they're analyzing a variety of different kinds of produce. And you can see in the data, you can see these huge swings of supply and demand in provincial markets. In this case, it's sweet potatoes, and you can see that the rainy season has a huge impact. You can see the impact of COVID on the production. See this huge dip here in March and April. And then you can also see the big picture of how that affects all of the different produce across across different districts and how it affects the price. So in this case, their example is really interesting because it helps to show the power, right, of building a shared idea, a shared mental model across a group of people. It's got to be practical. So let me show you another example. I'm going to grab my phone and we're going to take a look in AR mobile. This is web AR. So it's looking at a different example of COVID. You can see both the big picture of how many deaths are occurring. Well, in this case, it's how many cases are occurring in each particular county. And then you can see that number of cases per capita. And with avatars, you can actually share that information together with avatars and laser pointers. For example, I can pull up that example of financial services. And I didn't really mention that our core use cases are in public policy, financial services, and consulting. So the World Bank, UN Development Program, BlackRock are important customers for this kind of information. So an example of how this actually looks and works with multiple users in a shared space. A little hard to see exactly what's going on here, but basically we have the floating holograms along with users, avatars, and laser pointers communicating certain aspects of the content. Again, a great use case. There's a lot of investment advisors who are interested in communicating to a younger demographic that's getting stolen away by the likes of Robinhood, and they better figure out a way to capture that young audience, young market, before it disappears. So what are some of the core aspects of what we consider to be a successful project and successful continuing license? Having a really wide range of modalities, of usage modalities, is important. So you can see that people are creating these AR weatherman videos, we call them. Actually, just grab your phone, capture the screen sharing, use a screen sharing to capture it and post it on TikTok. Get lots of viral views, everybody's happy. People are in real time, in person, sharing meetings, sometimes with avatars, sometimes not. But the idea that everyone has a live, interactive data set to explore and manipulate instead of just sharing another PowerPoint with an authoritarian presenter. That's a core key to engagement, is to have everybody feel like they have some of that mastery and control. And that core idea that mastery and control is power, right? It is cool. Then another important aspect of what we're doing that I think is key to any significant broad-based spatial media project is understanding that a lot of people don't have headsets yet, and they're not ready to dive into that. So leading them through a really compelling, positive flat screen experience and mobile experience is vital to getting more people educated onto the power of spatial computing and where it's going to go. So again, my name is Jason Marsh, and this is Flow Immersive. And thanks for taking a few minutes to hear what we're doing and what we think is important in the world around communicating with data and hopefully solving some of humanity's really big, complicated problems. Thank you.